It's time to work on the anatomy lesson. We're working on the 5 senses. Well, actually, the last 3 of the 5 senses. So we're working on taste and smell and touch. And we've already done our self-portrait for our eye. And we also did the ear. So for this one, on this page, we're gonna do the last 3 senses. And I think the illustration will be this image here. Hopefully we can do this quickly, and then the write-up will be for all the last ones that we're doing, and hopefully in the next 25 minutes. I don't know, let's see. Let's try to get that done.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine. You heard that introduction. We're going to try to get this done in 25 minutes. Spoiler alert, we get it done in 27 minutes. I've got a couple of resources here that we're using for our anatomy main lesson block. We have the Charles Kovacs book, Muscles and Bones. We also have the Human Body Atlas. This is going to provide our illustration inspiration for today's lesson. I opted not to do a self-portrait for this. We had limited time, so I'm copying this illustration. We're using main lesson books. These measure 9.5 inches by 12 inches. They have blank pages on both sides, separated by an onion skin. They are available at a Child's Dream. You can find the link in the description box below. So we've previously done 2 of the 5 senses. Today, we're going to add the last 3 senses on this page. I have a variety of color pencils. I've opted to put them in this pencil holder. That way we can access our Lyra color pencils, Kohinoor, and any of the other brands that we have. This one's entitled Taste, Touch, and Smell, but the illustration is going to be for taste. So it's going to be an open mouth with a tongue. This was surprisingly difficult, and I did not have a lot of time, so I wasn't making fine adjustments to the illustration. Once it gets done, it looks okay. It's not great, but it works for this lesson. It is descriptive. You can tell what it is. It is important to add these illustrations in, but it's also important to be accurate, and I was not accurate with this one. I did not count up the teeth in order to make sure that there were the correct number of teeth and that each of the teeth were both in the correct position and the correct shape. So I would recommend that if you are doing this illustration, to be more accurate with your illustration, make sure that you have the correct number of teeth, that the shape is correct. There are plenty of times when your imaginative drawing can be just that, but when you're doing scientific illustrations, I think it's important that you are as accurate as possible, either by doing a self-portrait or by using illustration inspiration as we've done. Now it's time to write up our lesson, and I am getting the bulk of our content from the book by Charles Kovacs. The way that the 5 senses are discussed in this chapter is unlike anything I've seen before in any anatomy resource. It talks about the 5 senses in relation to how they are used by distance. So our eyes can see things that are literally millions of miles away when we're gazing up at the night sky. We're looking at the stars, and these are objects that are so far away. But aside from that, we can look across the horizon and see things that are dozens to hundreds of miles away. As you move to other senses, like hearing, it gets closer and closer. So our hearing, we can hear things that are farther away, but mostly we're hearing things that are pretty close, within a few miles. Then we get to things that we can smell, and you can smell things, maybe some freshly cut lawn from a few miles away, but mostly we're smelling things that are a lot closer within our home or within a room. And then it comes to things that you touch, and you can only touch things that are within arm's length. You literally have to be next to the things that you touch. And finally, when you get to taste, you can only taste things that are literally coming into your body. I love the way that this has been depicted, and so that made up the bulk of our narration for this lesson. Here's a final look at this lesson. I really like the way that it turned out, and that illustration grew on me over time. I hope that you enjoyed this look at our anatomy main lesson. Don't forget to check out the blog post that accompanies this video for more information, as well as links to not just the resources we used for our anatomy main lesson block, but also the other tutorials in this main lesson block. You can find the link to that blog post in the description box below. And if you'd like to see how we're homeschooling on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram and now on TikTok at Pepper and Pine.